The potential here is just totally insane. Hi, I'm Raborn Johnson for Sample Library Review, and today I'm checking out Playbox by Native Instruments. True innovation is a rare thing in the world of virtual instruments, but that's exactly what Playbox has in spades: innovation. Playbox is the most creative contact instrument I've seen in a long time. If you write pop music, this rare instrument will jumpstart your inspiration. Playbox is compatible with the free Contact Player or Contact 6.7 or higher. It includes 1,301 presets, 905 samples, and downloads as 1.2 gigabytes. Playbox is available from Native Instruments for $199, but at time of review was available for the introductory price of $149. So today we're checking out Playbox, and I gotta say, this is a truly innovative instrument. It's rare that you find something that really pushes the bounds of creativity, but I tell you, that's exactly what it feels like Playbox is doing. If you write pop tracks, hip hop tracks, trap, any kind of contemporary style, this instrument is really cool and full of inspiration for you. So we're gonna go ahead and go through just a whole lot of the instrument. There is so much here. We're barely honestly going to scratch the surface. It's insane, all of the stuff this thing will do. Essentially, you have 1,301 presets, but the real fun comes in when you begin to randomize samples, when you begin to randomize effects, when you begin to randomize chord sets, when you can import your own samples, you can play your own chords. I mean, it's nuts. So let's go ahead and we're going to go through some of the presets, and then we're also just going to kind of make our own. So let's go ahead and hit the global preset menu. Actually, you know what, for fun, and you can see, sorry, I'm getting excited. There, you can go to the getting started, you can go to instruments, synths, voices, and supernatural. Those are the different preset categories. But if I just want to play around and have a good time, I can simply hit the dice. And again, you're going to see dice all over this instrument. Dice for the samples here, dice for the effects, dice for the samples, dice for the chords, dice for individual samples. I mean, it's insane. So I'm going to go ahead and do this for the presets, and let's just try out some of the presets. Here's one called Retro Toy Shop. Here's Drums Decay. Here's one called Old Tapes. Here's one called Clubless Age. I mean, there's some crazy sounds on here and you're going, gosh, what the heck? This is insane. Some of these sounds sound nuts. Okay, where it gets even funner is on the samples. Not only do you have all of the different samples within Playbox itself, categorized as synths, instruments, bass, voices, noise, all factory, but you can actually drag and drop your own user presets in here. So if you have all sorts of samples on your hard drive like I do that are just sitting there collecting proverbial dust, and you've been wondering, what the heck do I do with all of these samples that I'm absolutely doing nothing with? you can go to your user menus. You have 4 slots here, and you could actually drag in up to 90 different samples into your user menu. And then it will actually, Playbox will actually take all of those samples. It will recognize what key they're in, and it will automatically adjust them to match whatever you're doing. So I know you're probably looking at this instrument going, gosh, I don't write pop tracks. This is not for me. Well, you might be surprised, because if you've got a lot of samples on your hard drive, from cinematic to romantic to whatever it might be, you can actually drag those samples in here, and begin to create something completely new and completely different than maybe what you've ever imagined before. And in addition to creating your own chords in the chord section, and there's just tons of chord sets that come in here. They're categorized by simple, extended, unison, if you're wanting to play in things like bass lines. But in addition to that, you can actually drag and drop your own MIDI chords in here. So if you have MIDI files with chords, you can drag those in here, or you can create the chords in here and drag and drop the MIDI from this into your DAW to layer over top of another instrument. So again, I'm kind of going crazy and a little bit off the rails on this one, because there's just so much here, but it's just such a deep instrument. So let's go ahead and go through some more of the presets and see what we have. I mean, these sounds are just so modern sounding. Sunday Church. Here we have Remastered Film in D minor. Versatile. If you've got headphones in, you can hear that talking going on in the sample. So let's find out actually where that's at. If we go to samples, let's see. So this is the voice. You can see instruments, bass, voices, synths. So here's our bass sound, our instrument, our voice, and our synth. You put it together. Now, you'll notice that talking is nowhere to be found. You're going, why am I not hearing the talking? Well, let's go over to Effects, and you'll see that if we go to the Lo-Fi section, there's a train leaving here. So we can actually hear what that sounds like. And there's the ambience that you're hearing. Again, you can drag your own ambience in there. So you can add all sorts of lo-fi action in here. You can add crazy delays, reverb, and again, everything is modulatable. Is that a word? It is now. Okay, so let's move from grain to ARP. Let's change this instrument to an ARP. And then we'll take that ambience off. And maybe we want to take lo-fi off altogether. Let's just take it off. So many cool things going on. Okay. Let's do diva strings. Let's play around with the XY pad on that one. You can hear the ambience in that one too. Again, you've got that lo-fi on. Let me go over to the effects. And you'll see that lo-fi. We've got playground. Just so cool. I mean, this is insane. And let's say that we want to go over here to the samples. Actually, let's go to the effects and let's see what's going on. We've got grain. Let's go ahead and change that to a strum. And let's strum maybe zigzag up. Let's go ahead and turn the lo-fi off so we can hear that good. Let's make that, I don't know, maybe a 16th? All right, let's go ahead and randomize again. And this time we have Kinda Blue. All right. And now we're looking at my modus. And you can see you've got that woozy sound going on. Again, you've got lo-fi, and you can see that the modulation is happening on the detune. So here we are connected. It looks like, is that the... Oh, it's the mod step. You can see the mod step here. It's connected, so as I play, you'll watch the detune going back and forth. I mean, the possibilities here for modulation are absolutely insane. You can see, I'm going to go ahead and let's just add to the size. Let's go ahead and, it's on the mod wheel, it looks like. Just nuts. Okay, instant pop. I mean, instant pop is exactly right. Okay, so let's just begin to randomize some things. Here's where we're starting. Okay, so I'm just going to begin to randomize. Let's go first to randomize the chords. Okay, let's randomize the samples. Now let's randomize the effects. Let's do it again. And again. You can see every single time it's something completely different. Let's randomize the samples again. I mean, just like that, something completely different. And then if we want to go look at the effects, again, not only do you have a chords browser, a samples browser, you also have an effects browser. So you can find, something that will work right out of the box, or you can create your own, or you can just randomize to your heart's content. So let's say we want something, I don't know, maybe simple. And let's try like a delay reverb. Or a drip. Or an ARP meta. I mean, you can see every bit of this completely changes the sound, from the effect to the samples to the chords. It's just nuts. So let's go over here to the samples now. And let's just go ahead for fun. Let's audition these. Actually, you know what? Let me go back and fix this effect. Let's find something just really vanilla. Okay, let's do that. That's great. Okay, so now... Oh, this is perfect. You can see it's actually on this particular sound, it already has all of the samples for every one of the chord sets, for every one of the chords already aligned. So we don't even have to do that. But what if we wanted to completely randomize the samples? Well, let's say that maybe we only want to have this second chord randomized. So I'm going to hit that. Or I'll do it again. And you can see, because I've got it set here, instead of having my global setting on, I've got each particular horizontal line assigned to a particular instrument group. It's only going to randomize within that instrument group. So I can do this as many times as I want to, and I'm going to come up with a different variation of that instrument group. So what if I want to go completely outside of the box on that? Well, you absolutely can. So let's say that I want to hit the global key, and maybe I just want to do synths. So now I'm going to hit the randomize on the second line, and now you can see everything else stayed the same, but now... And I can do it again. Or again. And you can just sit here and create all sorts of combinations. If you find that and you say, gosh, I want to stretch that across the whole thing, well, easy does it. And you're done just like that. I can go right back to where I was though. I mean, you can see it's just, the potential here is just totally, totally, totally insane. Okay, so let's go ahead and randomize again, but this time I'm just going to say, let's take all of the factory sounds and randomize. Okay, I kind of like that. Let's see what that sounds like all together. If I don't want to do it, I can go right back to where I was. Let's spread that one out and see what it sounds like. And if I want to try a different chord set, I can simply hit the browser. I can say, I want something that's just really simple. Okay, let's go to picture. I'm now in D minor. And you can see the whole thing's based off triads, probably because I did simple. If I do complex, and let's try marshmallow, and let's look at those chords. You'll see they're much more complex now. So cool. And if I want to lock these down, I can, so that, when I'm randomizing, I can randomize without particularly touching one chord. So just so many things. So like if I want to lock this one down, but I want to shuffle the rest, I can do that. And this one will continue to stay in place while I shuffle the rest. This is just such a deep instrument. It's just truly nuts. All right. So just for fun, this is where we ended up. And this is where we started. Let's go right back to where we started. Remember, this was it. Totally different. And all we did was hit the randomize button a few times. So easy to do. Luxury cars. Let's check that one out. And new adventure. Maybe you're going, gosh, that's just too crazy for me. I mean, the beat is kind of all over the place. Well, that's simply because we've got to go into effects, and you can see we've got the grain controls on. So if we turn that off, and boom, we've got something instantly that's completely usable. If we want to go to the ARP, let's turn that on. Just like that. If we want to go 16th dotted, move out. Or if we want to go to the strum feature. Maybe we want to do fast. So cool. And you'll notice, again, I'm not going in here and even assigning any of the modulation parameters, which is completely possible to do. I'm simply going in here and randomizing things. There's a lot of lo-fi sounds in here. So one thing I would say, I don't particularly use a lot of lo-fi sounds myself. I know that's very popular and people love lo-fi. But the great thing about it is if you don't like lo-fi or if you don't use them a lot like I don't, it's easy to go in and just take that lo-fi off. Here's one called, let's go, okay, actually, let's try Vapor Tape, because this is probably going to be lo-fi, and let's see what we can do before and after. Okay, so let's go in here, take lo-fi off. We've got the grain off. Let's see what that sounds like. Going to clean that up a little bit more. Let's go to the reverb. And oops, keep hitting the wrong thing. Let's go to, here's reverb. And let's take that size down a little bit. Let's maybe take the modulation off of it. And let's take the amount, and we're just going to control that ourselves. Let's see what this sounds like. just like that, we have a completely usable pad for pop music, but also even for cinematic stuff if we wanted to. And we can play our own chords in, so let's go do that. Let's go ahead and you can actually pick your own chords here too, but I'm going to go ahead and record them in. So let's say I want to do something in, I don't know, let's try the key of F. So let's go F. Do I have that locked down? So I'm going to go to record that in, go to piano mode. And now I want to go here. And then I'm going to go here. And let's just see what we've got there. So cool. So I'm just going to play a couple of sounds just to give you a taste of what's to come, and then let's begin to go through the engine and kind of talk through what's going on under the hood. So this preset is called a cute piano. Okay, let's give you another idea of some other things going on here. How about Age of Morph? Oh yeah, let's check that out. So what the heck's going on here, Raborn? Look at all of these different things. I mean, this is crazy. So there's a whole lot going on in this front panel. First of all, these visual representations represent different styles of instruments. In addition to an XY pad that controls the two controls you'll see here, in this case, grain speed and what they call clouds, you also have a number of other controls on the front panel. This instrument has so many layers to it. So the first layer that we're looking at is just the home screen. However, another part to this is the chord set. So right now we're in the key of C minor. You can obviously change that, but the chord sets you'll find when hitting chords. Now, you'll look here and you'll see that this has all sorts of different things going on. Well, these are actually layers. These are stacks. This actually shows the chords that these red keys are playing. So if you're hitting middle C, you'll play this chord, which is essentially a C minor chord. If you play the D, you'll see that you're playing this chord here and so on. You can actually, there's just tons of chord sets in this thing. You can hit this little preset menu and it will actually show you all of the different chord sets. So as I go through these, you can actually audition, you can try out all sorts of different chord sets. So first of all, let's go ahead and hit this. These are the actual chord sets, I apologize. So we can go through different things. You'll see what key it's in. And once you find something, you can just double click it, close out, and now the chords have adjusted to be in the chord of G sharp minor. Now, if we wanted to do something else, I'll just hit this preset again. I'll go to Memories or Be There. Let's go to Maze, for instance, and now we're in B flat minor. And you can see this is built on just essentially triads. So let's play that again. So Okay, we're barely scratching the surface here, guys. We'll get back to this, but let's go ahead and look at the samples. So the sample browser right here, this is actually showing you the samples that are being played with the chords. Now here's where it gets crazy. Each one of these samples is playing a different note. So if we go back to the chords, you can see here we have an A sharp, a C sharp, and an F. So if I go over to samples, this is going to play the A sharp, this is going to play the C sharp, this is going to play the F. So when I touch it, you put it all together. So it's actually playing the triad, but it's playing the triad across 3 different samples. Insane. Now, gosh, this gets so deep. You can change each of these individual samples simply by hitting the magnifying glass and auditioning different samples. And you can choose those. It'll pop it up for you. Or where the real fun comes in is you can randomize. So you can randomize on a global level for all of your samples. You can randomize vertically. You can randomize horizontally. You can change the kind of instrument that's on each horizontal line. So for instance, if I want to go to synths and I want to go to voices and I want to go to instruments, if I hit the randomize button now, you'll see now this green icon represents different kinds of synths. This represents different kinds of voices. These represent different kinds of instruments. It looks confusing at first, but you'll catch on to it really quickly. So let's see what we've got now that we just did a simple global randomization. So you can see we've got different samples across the keys, which is really cool because you're not just randomizing one set of samples. You're actually randomizing, eight sets of samples essentially, because you have 8 chords represented on these red keys. So if I find one of these that I like, I actually really like that first one. It's super easy to take this set of chords, this set of notes in this particular chord, and just hit the spread button. And now I've spread that exact set of samples across all of my chords. Check it out. So cool. Now, where it gets even funner is let's go back to chords for a moment. And I'm going to just go into piano mode, which is just going to give me a basic piano sound or a keyboard sound essentially. But now if I hit the record button below any of these, it's going to allow me to play in my own chords. So I'm going to all of a sudden let's go to A minor. So you'll see there I've played in 6 notes, and I can do that all together or I can do it one at a time. So now I'm going to go to the next one. So now once again, I've got them all played in together. Let's play this one in just one note at a time. Cool. And just like that, and obviously these are in the original key. So obviously I'm changing keys when I do this, but what's even funner is now I can go in and I can actually adjust individual notes by a semitone, by 11 semitones, octaves. Insane. If I want to shuffle the order of the chords, I'll just shuffle. I can shuffle, I can audition, so that I can play this all the way across the keys. You'll see that now instead of having all these blue keys that don't work, you can see as I'm touching them, they're not playing anything. I can hit the audition mode, and now I can actually play this across the entire keyboard. Just so cool. Okay, now to the effects. So the effects window, I'm just barely going to touch this. It's insane. You can have a ton of different effects, and many of these effects are actually able to be changed out. So for instance, here I have this instrument using a granular module. I can actually change that to an ARP or a strum. I could go to lo-fi if I don't want an animal birdhouse. If I turn on the ambience, I can actually change that to humans hiking to have some sort of lo-fi sample. I can drag my own lo-fi sample here. All of this is able to be modulated using the LFOs. I can just hit this plus button. I can do it with macros. I can do it with the mod wheel. I can do it with envelopes. I can do it with the step sequencer. I can do it on the XY pattern on the home page. I can do it with LFOs. I mean, insane. If I want to move the filter over, I just drag it. If I want to turn something on or off, I can simply do that and tell it what I want to turn on. And there's my effect. So you can see the possibilities are just mind-blowing with this. I mean, I know that you're probably seeing things online, and if you've read about this instrument, you're completely thinking, this is just for pop music. That's all I can use it for. Again, so much depth here. You can use this. Absolutely. Is it created for pop? Absolutely. And I'm going to use it for that a lot personally, but you can do so many things with this. You're not only limited to the sounds out of the box, you tweak the effects a little bit, you've got something completely different. You tweak the samples a little bit, you've got something completely different. And then of course, again, you can drag your own user samples in. I think for each one of the user slots that you'll see here, I think you can drag in 90 samples per user slot. So, I mean, just right there, you've got 360 of your own samples that you can combine. And once you've got those in there, you simply say, okay, I want to take all of my user samples and I want to randomize based on my user samples. And it will allow you to do that. It's just, this instrument's insane. This is completely different than anything I've ever seen before. The fact that you can stretch these chords across different samples is just the coolest thing. It's such a simple yet innovative idea to take these triads or these different larger chords that you have and to play each one of those notes of the chord across a different sample. It just creates something completely new and just so cool. So I highly encourage you. You can tell I'm excited. I'm really loving this instrument. I highly encourage you to check out Playbox. I think it's something that really is going to be an absolute inspiration box for a whole lot of folks out there. So I hope you've enjoyed the review. Thanks so much for joining us. Thanks for checking out Playbox with me today. Is this an instrument you would use? What kinds of creative uses can you imagine for it? Comment below and let us know your thoughts. Make sure to like the video and share it with your friends, and also subscribe to the channel. Be sure to check out samplelibraryreview.com for more news and reviews, and to stay in the know about weekly sales via our weekly deal compressor.